What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, had a special request. Somebody sent me this. It's strange Swedish culture tradition sets the online world ablaze. I believe this happened like a couple of weeks ago. This was on the news, I'm guessing. The Swedengate news, I believe. So somebody sent me that. We're finna check it out. Y'all hit that subscribe button. Send down those recommendations. Let's see what set the world ablaze.
The internet's going crazy now after a Reddit post started this whole awakening about a Swedish custom when it comes to eating. Yes, eating. Let's look at that Reddit post first off that started this whole thing. It was sent out. It said, "What is the weirdest thing you had to do at someone else's house because of their culture or religion?" One of the answers that got this whole thing was, "I remember going to my Swedish friend's house, and while they were playing in his room, his mom yelled that dinner was ready. And check this, he told me to wait in his room while they ate." That was effing wild, is what they said, which maybe seemed like a one-off occurrence. Maybe people like, man, I think
Hold up, I would have been like, wait a minute. Y'all ain't enough for me to eat? Nah, that's wild. That is wild.
Is what they said, which maybe seemed like a one-off occurrence. Maybe people like, man, I think that's just your friend. Maybe you didn't wash your armpits that day. But there was more that said. Someone else said, "I slept over at a friend's house. When we woke up, he said he's going downstairs for a few minutes. After about 15 minutes, I go on the stairs like an intruder to see what is happening. And they're eating breakfast. They see me and tell me he's almost done and will be up there soon."
Whoa.
I still think about that 25 years later.
That is wild.
Wow. So that happened. And also, so after those two instances, probably others, that post then went viral. People couldn't believe that Swedish people don't feed their guests. So people started wondering, is this a regular thing? Another tweeter said, "Most devastating PR week imaginable for Sweden. They're now considered a rogue state thanks to one Reddit comment," because people can't believe this. This is my favorite tweet from this entire story. They probably have this picture then of a family with an IKEA ad sitting around the table, and it says they probably have a friend sitting somewhere in the house waiting for the family to finish lunch.
Oh my God. That is wild. That is why. Hey, come on. I know my Swedes. I know. Please tell me this is just their experience. You never experienced this. That is. I always knew if you go over somebody's house, like that person would feed you. You know, they're not like, "Hey, stay over there. We finna eat. You stay over there," type of thing. That's different. That is different.
I think Swedengate.
And also, another tweeter also pointed out, "Meanwhile, in the Philippines, we feed our guests as soon as they step in, then during meal times, then give out snacks, and then finally pack more food for when they go home." So yeah, that's the way things are happening. But then there was one person who did a post about this to get a little bit of an understanding behind this. Linda Johansson wrote an op-ed in the Independent and said this: "The Swedish thinking goes like this. The other child, or the other family, may have plans for another kind of dinner, and you wouldn't want to ruin the routine or preparations. I don't think it has anything to do with not wanting to feed the other child or because it costs money or anything like that. It's more to do with tradition and wanting to eat with your own family." I spoke to my cousin who still lives in Gothenburg to see what it's like for parents now. She has two kids aged 8 and 12 and said it's not like that at all anymore. Most of the time, everyone sits down and eats together. So maybe there's been a big social shift, but the only people who find this strange seem to be those who aren't.
Yeah,
because it's really strange. It's to the rest of us. And so, but I love stories of cultural differences. I think that's the main interesting part here. But first, of course, time for dad jokes. So this gives a new definition to whispering Swede nothings. Okay.
Swede? Was it Swede nothings?
Swede nothings.
Make sure you guys got that.
Okay, and I know this story's a little bittersweet. Okay, all right.
Mark, I need you to not encourage me.
Bittersweet.
We need a womp womp.
Okay, look, so let's get to it. So look, a lot of you are thinking, especially if you're from other parts of the world, and it turns out this is a thing in Northern Europe that was around for a long time culturally. But if you're from Asia, particularly South Asia, the Middle East, Mediterranean countries, this is like the most offensive thing you have ever heard in your life. My mom's like calling card is over stuffing people. I mean, you come to our house, she will not leave until you've gained at least 5 pounds. Okay, she
I
thinks
think it's just a point of like if I'm cooking, make something for whoever there. But I think it's like they said, it was like maybe it was a thing, more of a thing back then. How it was, but usually if I know I'm cooking dinner and maybe it's time for the kid guests, my son's guests, or the guests to head on home before dinner. Hey, we're almost done with dinner. Go ahead and head on home so you can get some dinner at your place. It's probably dinner time at your house too, type of thing. But man, that's different.
Great offense to her if you leave without having gained at least that much weight. Okay, and for my Indian friends, I literally cannot leave their house without eating something because it's considered offensive if you haven't fed your guests at all. So I have to eat at least a little cracker or something because I can't leave without it, right? So hearing that the kid, like other kids, like other families' kids are locked in a room, all the rest of you eat dinner or breakfast or lunch, that is like unheard of for those other countries, and that's why it's shocking everybody. And then it's turned Sweden into a rogue nation. That's so funny. Okay, but guys, I read another explanation which actually made some sense. It doesn't mean that it's quote unquote right. It just, they said that in some parts of Northern Europe, especially in Sweden, feeding people is an insult, as if they can't afford their own food. Oh. And so that's the twist on it. We don't want to insult you. I'm sure that you could afford your own food. That's why we'll eat ours. And I think the routine explanation that JR gave, I'm sure their family has their own routine. That sounds really Northern European. Yeah, we have routine. Do not break routine. Okay. So, Amy, what are your cultural thoughts here?
Well, being from a multicultural family, my husband's an immigrant from Brazil. And when we go down to visit Brazil, it's the total opposite from Sweden. I mean, it's a total spread. They've got 10 different meats on the grill. It's inside their house. And if you don't eat, it is considered immensely rude. And if you do not prepare for people,
I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't usually expect a lot of guests at my house, and like if I do, I already know I'm cooking for those guests. I guess it's there. If I have people visit, like I'm probably not cooking. Like if you stopping by to grab something or say hi or you probably ain't gonna get a meal out of me. But unless you come at the time that you just happen to come at a cooking time that I cook. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I'm not probably, just because you come over to me, you probably gonna get a meal out of me. Just being honest.
To serve them food when they come over, it's also considered rude. So it really is a really big difference in culture. Even the culture around just in the neighborhoods. When you travel internationally, you really get to see a lot of people feel that we're kind of backwards and that we're not out in our communities at night. We don't know our neighbors. They're astounded that we don't go out and sit outside and talk with neighbors and get to know people. And there's usually music in the streets and ours are, dead and quiet at night. So there is immense differences when you travel. It really highlights those, and even some things we do here in this country that others find really backwards.
I appreciate the Swedes. I'm going to controversial. I appreciate them because as a picky eater as a child, my biggest nightmare was someone served me food that I just absolutely couldn't stand. That I would smell and go, I don't actually want to see what that smell converts into as far as a taste because I might make a mess here on their table. So if someone doesn't feed me, I was perfectly okay with that because many times I wasn't eating.
I think it would be the point of, hey, do you want some such and such? Do you want some food? Yeah, what y'all cook? We cooked this. Oh no, I don't want. I feel like it'll be the point of just asking if they would like some. Not making them eat it, of course. Kind of like he said, I would hate to eat some food too that I didn't want to eat or didn't like or didn't know.
I would eat certain picky things. I mean, I would go home and be picky too with my own parents' food. So that was just a thing for me. So I wonder for kids that maybe get fed in some of those other cultures that have to get fed. You gotta eat this food. I don't know much about Turkish food. I don't know. I mean, your mom could cook beautifully, but maybe it's just something. Maybe it's spicy.
Yeah, and then if you don't eat in someone else's house the food they gave you, especially after you take a bite, then it's like super offensive. You didn't like the food.
Yeah. Took a bite.
Right. Yeah, so
it's hard for me because I'm vegetarian, guys. So I'm in Brazil traveling, and they eat nothing but meat. I have to try to find ways to sneakily get in. I'm not eating the meat that's there.
Yeah, and then if you got to deal with my mom, and by the way, she's a terrific cook, so it works out 98% of the time. But if you say, okay, just one more spoon, she'll give you 8 more spoons. So you have to say it's 7 spoons ahead of time, okay? And but to Amy's point, no, America's gotten so unfriendly. The other night I went out for a walk and I ran into one of my neighbors, Adam. And Adam and I walked around for a little bit. I went home and I told my wife, I said, oh, I ran into Adam and we walked around a little bit. She's like, why? She's like, are you guys having an affair?
What?
She was kidding, but barely. Like, it's so strange to talk to your neighbors in America that like people look at you kind of funny. Why are we talking to the neighbors? Okay, and so, and then, but finally, guys, just don't get so immersed in your own culture that you can't see outside of it. And this is a perfect example of it. There might be a really good reason why the culture developed that way, and so you're not right and they're wrong. There's in a lot of in some cultural cases, yes, there is right and wrong, right? So in Central Asian republics where my people originally came from, there's still some kidnappings to get your bride.
Oh,
we can leave that culture behind, okay? But in terms of stuff like this, yeah, they might be trying to say like they're trying not to insult. Guys, it's amazing what human beings can believe.
That's why I said he made a good point saying, hey, it's just important to understand other cultures. Gotta be open-minded to the fact that everybody is different, every culture is different, people do things different ways.
Trying to say like they're trying not to insult. Guys, it's amazing what human beings can believe. Remember, the Aztecs and the Mayans were positive that if you ripped a heart out from some poor schmuck, that the gods would be happy, and everybody celebrated. They're like, hey, we ripped a heart out, right? So, and it was considered rude not to let them rip your heart out. Times have changed, thank God on that.
Enjoy where we live now.
Yeah, so Sweden, not so bad. Okay. Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat.
The Young Turks. This is the first time I heard about them. So long. Okay, the Young Turks. That was interesting. I would say, especially in the beginning, that's very interesting because as it went on, I started understanding. But in the beginning, when you first hear it, that threw me for a loop. Because I'm like, wait a minute, bro, don't leave me in this room. Like, I'm hungry too. But then again, the kid might have not have been hungry, or he might have been understanding. Like, oh yeah, no problem. Go ahead, go eat. I'm good. We just never know the conversation at hand. I mean, but coming from those comments, it seemed like they were very disappointed that they didn't get to go eat though. But to each his own. Hey, different strokes for different folks, you know what I'm saying? So, but that was interesting. Y'all let me know if this ever happened to you. I know I have a lot of Swedes that are subscribed to this channel, so y'all let me know. Have you ever experienced this, or went through this, or had to do this type of thing? It's interesting, but like you said, being open-minded, understanding everybody else's cultures and stuff and beliefs, but that's different. But that's all I have for this video. Y'all hit that subscribe button and y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.